Hi, I'm Max Kay, standing in for Gary Mitchell, who unfortunately has fallen off the wagon and is in rehab once again. He loves me to tell you that. 3 wonderful letters tonight. Well, different letters. One from a disgruntled wife whose husband works up north in the mines. He works for 4 weeks and is down for 1 week. And when he's down here, he drinks a slab of beer, wants sex after it. He has another obnoxious habit. He never cuts his toenails. Gross. And then we have another wife who was told before she was married that marriage would open up her world. Well, after 3 kids, a mortgage and bills to pay, she said it's a crock of bull dust. And then finally, a single father who has 2 daughters who are completely feral. They never shave under their arms and they smell. He is seeking help, and he'll get just that from our marvellous panel, a group of TV golden oldies, coming up soon on Sweet and Sour.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our monthly crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, 'cause baby, it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
Good evening, good evening. I'm Gary Mitchell. No, I'm not. 10 years from now, I'm Gary Mitchell. They were welcome, maybe even longer. Welcome to Sweet and Sour. We've got an exciting panel for you tonight. People you've never seen for years. Well, maybe some of you had. I'm going to introduce you now. First of all, we have, straight from television, Gary Carvloth.
Thank you very
Hello,
much
Gary.
indeed.
It's so wonderful to see. Gary, I thought you were dead, actually.
Well, as a matter of fact, when I heard some of those letters, so did I.
Yes.
But it's great to be here.
How have you been, Gary?
I've been terrific.
What's
I've
been
been
happening
very
with
busy.
you?
I've been doing a lot of work on another channel.
Oh,
with
I saw
Seaton,
that.
as
I
you
saw
know,
that, yeah.
Today tonight.
With Jenny Seaton, yeah. God, I wish she was here.
Yeah. But the stand-in's here, and she's just as good.
Is she
Yeah,
just as
she's
good
just
looking?
as good.
Okay.
Right, a little bit younger.
Well, stand-in, Jenny Seaton.
Oh, thank you. Hi,
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, Max.
How are you,
Good to
darling?
see
Are you good?
Hello, sweetheart. Mwah. Us golden oldies. How
I'm going
about
to
that?
lick you now.
Oh, really? No, keep that away. It's very nice to be here, and it's really great. Sweet and Sour's been going, gosh, how many years now? 10
A long
years?
time.
About
Is it?
10 years, I think.
Well, he only
So-
Gary only says he's 35.
I know he does.
He
lie a
does
little.
tell lies,
Yeah,
doesn't he?
but,
And it
He's-
solves
It's a measurement.
so many
This has been on
people's
35
problems.
years.
Can't wait to hear the letters.
Okay, it's lovely. And here's a very big surprise for you. You remember Fat Cat? Well, here is Sandy Baker. Hello, Sandy. Oh,
Hello, mate. Mwah.
isn't she gorgeous?
Thank
Hello,
you.
Sandy.
It's so
Tell us all
nice to
about
be
Now,
here.
I haven't seen you for how many years?
Oh,
Years.
yes.
Tell us all about these intervening years.
Well, I spent 15 years living overseas and
Yeah,
working
where?
overseas in Europe and in Asia,
Where are you
Philippines,
doing
Indonesia.
what?
Oh, we originally went with my husband's work.
You didn't take Fat Cat with you? No.
Unfortunately, no.
Because I used to see him
no.
being put to bed every night
I know, he was still here.
with an imposter.
Yes. But we had a wonderful time, and we've been back in Australia about 7 years now, and retired, and enjoying being a grandma and just having...
Grandma, how many children?
I've got 2 grandchildren.
2. I've got 8.
See, you're beating
Oh,
me.
lovely. It's so gorgeous to see you.
It's nice
And
to
on
be
the
here.
end here, Willie Nelson. Hey. Peter Harris.
On the road again. Just can't wait to sing through my nose again.
Good for you, Peter.
Hello, Max.
Hello, Peter. How are you?
You going to kiss me,
No, no, I
Max?
won't.
I'm not going to kiss you, Max, either. What do you mean?
Have you been, Pete?
Best day of my life today, Max.
What's happened today?
I say it every day.
Oh, you do.
One of these
If you
days-
get up, it's the best day of
One
your
of
life.
these days it will be true.
That's it. Well, I hope this is one of the best nights of your life.
I'm sure it will
We're going to
be.
get right down into it. Have we all read? Do we know anything that's happening with these letters? Do you know? Okay, let's start with this letter number 1. My husband works in the mines of the north of Western Australia and does 4 weeks straight, then he has a whole week home. Most nights when he's home, he will consume 2/3 of a slab of the cheapest beer that he can buy, on special. And then he gets that grin on his face. You know, the look, one eyebrow raised and half a curl on his top lip.
That's a big eyebrow, Max.
How do you do that?
Like Elvis.
It's so appealing.
Yeah, it's so appealing. I can imagine how sexy he looks there. And then he expects it every time. It. every time. Now, quite apart from this putting a strain on our personal relationship, he refuses to trim his toenails. Oh, God. And as a consequence, he is constantly tearing holes in the bed sheets, really. As well as all that, he recently took a huge piece of skin out of my leg. What can I do to turn him into a normal, hygienic, self-respecting, compassionate husband? He is a good provider and we have 6 kids. Well, she's pretty busy that way, isn't she? That's Hazel, Midvale, Western Australia. Gary, give us your wisdom.
Hazel, I can, what's the word? I can feel the vibes with you.
No.
Sympathise is a good word too, but Hazel, I come from apart from being radio and television, I come from a marketing background, and you've got to start marketing yourself. You've got to make that it very hard to get. You have got to become the it
Too late, she's got 6 children.
And when he wants a bit of it, you've got to make it scarce, okay? And I reckon the more that you pull back, the more that you withdraw from this drunken fool, because that's what he is, a gorgeous girl like you, being absolutely ignored by this, just because he's up in the mines for 4 weeks. I'll bet he sharpens his act in about 10 seconds, well, maybe a little longer. Maybe in 1 furlough, he'll be back again. You've got to dress accordingly, and you've got to pull him into line and tell him to get his darn nails cut too. It's embarrassing, okay? But make it very, very scarce. A marketable product, and you've got it. Use it.
Jenny.
That's true. I am
He's good.
appalled. I cannot believe that any man would let himself behave that way, quite frankly. Seriously.
Look, long toenails.
If she has been married to him for a very long time, she has 6 children to this man, and surely he wasn't behaving like that when they first met.
I shouldn't think
What the
so.
heck's happened for him to behave him? It may be the environment that he's working in at the moment. Up there, the guys around each other sort of
But
slack
they don't
off a
get
bit.
sex up there at all.
Well, no, you don't. Neither you should. But when you come home and you go like that, like that, you better be behaving right. You know, no toenails better be trimmed
Would
properly.
you sleep with a man with sharp toenails?
Absolutely not. He should be going up to a spa and getting pedicured and manicured. How
What are
gross!
those marks on
How
your
gross.
leg?
You hear that?
None.
He's
Close
not listening.
shop.
She's a...
It's all over.
Okay, that's
Nothing.
good.
What
Thank
are
you,
those
Jenny.
marks on your leg?
Thank you. Sandy.
Well, I have a suggestion for
Yeah.
Hazel.
Yes.
I think that after 6 children, it has probably lost quite a bit of attraction. And
Not for him, but for her.
Not for him, but
Yeah.
for her. And I suspect that with the, what is it, a half a slab or 3/4 of a slab?
Three-quarters of
He's
a slab,
3/4 of a
yeah.
slab.
2/3.
I'd actually try and encourage him to finish the slab, because if he does that every night, there's
Good.
not going to be much opportunity. It won't be any it happening, will there?
Good. Is that what you do?
Well, I don't need to do that, but I think that's probably a good suggestion.
Good
for
advice.
Hazel.
Good advice. Well done. Peter.
I'm a little distressed by all this. This talk of... I presume you were talking about matrimonial matters?
Yes.
Is that what you-
Yes.
Well, it's very, very strange, because it seems to me that this chappie up in the north may have been spending far too much time in company of kangaroos. And
With long toenails.
this would account for the long toenails tearing the bed sheets.
But he's not jumping.
Well, he is jumping.
He is
On
jumping.
every
He's six
opportunity he's jumping. And you're wondering about raising one eyebrow and curling your lip. Well, it sort of goes like that,
Very
doesn't
appealing.
it? It does indeed. So what she should do is, I think that she should invest in a pair of hedge clippers for a start,
Yeah.
and take to him with those.
Just the toenails.
And then just get into it when he wants to, because... How long do you say his furlough was?
1 week.
week.
He only gets 1 week out of 4.
But he'll be away for 3 weeks.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
what you meant by having a
It
long
says 4
furlough?
weeks on, 1 week off.
I didn't know what a furlough was.
Well, there you are, Hazel, Midvale. There, you've got the answer to it. You must make yourself look a little more attractive and be
So should
definitely. Yeah, and he's a lost cause. He is a lost cause. We'll be back shortly with another letter here in Sweet and Sour. And welcome back to Sweet and Sour. We've missed you, and I'm glad you came back, because we've got a lovely segment for you here. Now, remember, every letter that is read out here on Sweet and Sour, you, if it happens to be one of yours that's read out, you will get a complimentary double pass to a film. And the film this week is Win Win with Paul Giamatti, courtesy of Natalie Cameron Organisation. So get your letters in, and if you want to send your letters in, you send your letters to letters at sweetandsour.net.au. Letters at sweetandsour.net.au. So get your letter in as fast as you can. And this is the kind of letter we want to hear. Well, any letter, whatever you like. Panel, listen to this. Any problem you have, and there are many here. I'm confused. I was told that marriage is right for you when it opens up your world. Well, that sounds terrific, but I married because I thought this was going to be the case. But I was totally starry-eyed, in love with my now husband. Now that all the goo-goo eyes have subsided and we've been married for 11 years, I want to know how my marriage opened up my world. Because of anything, it's weighed me down with responsibility and keeps me closed in. We have to keep paying the mortgage, the never-ending bills, and just never have time for us because we are too busy looking after our 3 kids. Can someone please explain to me how marriage can ever open up anyone's world? I think it's a total crock of bull dust. Born in a different era, and the glamour myth surrounding it needs to be dispelled now. How can I ever be honest with my kids, 3 beautiful girls, when they grow up and tell them marriage is nothing but bondage? Sandra, Stirling, South Australia.
What a shocking letter.
Well, now, Peter, oh, she's really upset, this one, isn't she? Really. Peter.
Oh, this is so sad because this young girl, having been married for only 11 years, has become somewhat disillusioned. But you must remember, my dear, as Groucho Marx said, that marriage is an institution altogether, but who wants to live in an institution? You see, they're all
a 3-ring circus.
That's beautiful, that's wonderful. Oh, how we danced on the night we were wed. We danced and we danced because the room had no bed. Now, they've had 3 children, so the room did have a bed on their honeymoon. What you have to do is to take the advice that my wife gave to my mother gave to my wife many years ago. She said, don't worry about him. He'll get sick and tired. No, that's a totally different subject. I'll leave it to the next speaker.
You're right there.
You're right. Is that whiskey in that water?
Not tonight.
Okay. Sandy.
Well, I've never actually heard this term, marriage opens up your world. I don't know if anyone else has ever heard it, but it certainly hasn't. It's not something I've heard before.
Did it open up your world? It
well,
did? You've travelled all over the world?
I have, absolutely.
Opened up my world and drained my bank account.
True. But I think that any relationship, whether you're married or not, goes through points when you're feeling a little bit down and a little bit weighed under with responsibilities. You don't have to be married to have 3 children and have responsibilities, and so at times it's going to feel a bit like things are a bit heavy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what the answer is, other than perhaps it's time to take something that'll help with the PMS this month. And
I think that's what it is.
I think it might be that's what it is this month.
This girl's assuming if you're not married, you don't pay mortgages and you don't have bills. Of course
yes,
you have all these things, whether you're married or not.
It's
Jenny,
life.
Jenny, you know, your words of wisdom will
Tell
know.
you what, she's been through the ropes
you've been
this
married a couple of times, haven't you?
More than
Maybe
that.
more.
Why?
Not more, like
it
what?
Is not
5,
true.
7,
It is
8,
not
3.
Some we don't count. Some we don't count. We don't even mention.
Okay.
No.
Okay,
No.
Jen.
Don't
But-
mention the wombat.
Yeah, that was a story, wasn't it? Every commitment requires this sort of compromise along the way. I don't know where you get, like Sandy just said, where did you get this idea that it was going to open up your world? It's up to you as an individual to know how your world needs to be opened up to, single, married or whatever. You chose to have your children, which is beautiful, and with that comes commitment.
She loves her children.
Of course she does,
Yes, she does.
but it's not a rose-coloured glass situation thing forever in a marriage or any commitment or even in a single life. So you will get through it, your children will grow older, you will get your mortgage paid off. Hang in there. Life isn't better out there on your own. It really isn't. It's a struggle. Just work together as a partner, have a date night occasion with your husband, make sure the children are looked after well, and feel comfortable when you go out. Just look at things, look at what you've got, not what you haven't got, all right? Be happy with what you've got.
Words of wisdom.
Could be
Jenny.
worse.
Words of wisdom. Now, Gary,
Well, it couldn't
I know
have come
that you will top this off.
No, I can't top it off because, you know, Jenny speaks with a lot of experience.
Yes.
A lot. But what I'd like to
You're
say...
the only single man here. You
That's
realise
right.
that?
Sandra You need to take a good, long look at yourself, Sandra. You are a whinger. You've turned your back on your family. I cannot... No, you can laugh about it if you like. This is serious.
Okay.
I feel sorry for this husband. Your daughter's turning into a trollop. You admit that yourself.
Doesn't say
and
that.
No, you're the wrong letter.
She's very out.
You're on the wrong letter.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
No, you're
You're on the last letter.
No, I'm on the right one.
Well, they've no trouble. She loves her children.
She loves her children, but what, if she... See, you all missed the point.
The bondage has nothing to do with
You're
her.
going to give me a chance to
They've
talk
been
this
married
out?
11 years. It's a bit rough to say her daughter's a trollop.
Sandra-
My kids, 3 beautiful girls, when they grow up and tell them marriage is nothing but bondage.
Okay, what sort of example, Sandra, are you displaying to these 3 beautiful girls of yours? Because you're taking your marriage for granted, you're taking your husband for granted, you're a whinger, a whinging housewife. What's going to happen is they will all gradually drift away. Take it from me, somebody that knows. Sandra, it's within you there. Pull this family together. Do something about it. Smarten yourself up before, Sandra. It's too late. Trollop might have been hard, knockabout might have been a better word.
No wonder you're single.
Yeah.
Oh, well, an impassioned plea from Gary. From the heart, Gary.
You've got to tell them. I mean, you
Even though
people,
you got the
you
wrong
people
letter.
tiptoe around it, you know, and I mean,
Passion plea.
that's it.
Right, there you are. You've got the answer there. We'll be back with you very, very shortly for our very last letter. Don't go away. Well, we'll go away, don't you?
If you're lost in your life, write to us. We'll tell you where to go.
That's good music, isn't it? Welcome back. Here we are to the last segment of Sweet and Sour. We'll be sorry to leave you. We will. Now, we've got a wonderful letter for the last one. Very sad, I think, as well.
Max, have you ever thought that the audience may have already left?
No, they're here. They're here. They're here. They've just gone out, made a cup of tea, and they're back again. Here they are. I'm feeling like a real failure. Not me. As a dad, this man says. I understand that kids have their individual character and parents' job is to support them until they can fend for themselves. What do I do if I can't agree with their values? My eldest daughter is just feral with smelly, hairy armpits and just as bushy legs. Consequently, she attracts boys just as gross. They stink. They look filthy. Am I saying this? They stink, they look filthy, and they've never been able to get a real job because no one would be stupid enough to employ them. But she attracts them like flies to rotten meat. She's 18 and a uni student and constantly attracts this sort of garbage. I don't know how to get her to understand the importance of shaving her armpits and legs in a civil society.
I'm getting itchy.
Yeah. Oh. My youngest daughter, who's only 15, has sex with anything that looks at her. Oh, my God. I don't know how to have her value herself more and also to be more selective. But at 15, surely she is too young to be sleeping around. I don't even know what this was happening until she had a frank conversation with her sister across the dinner table. Her mum, my ex-wife, ran off with another woman 10 years ago. Please give us a hand here.
This
My
is not a happy
God.
household.
He needs a hand, this man. Sandy, give him a hand.
Oh, it's such a difficult one, I
Yes.
think, this one.
Yeah.
I know that not shaving
Yeah.
is not necessarily a bad thing. Lots of cultures have...
Airlines. Alitalia has hair under its wings.
lots of cultures encourage or don't encourage shaving, especially in European cultures.
Yes.
For women. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but I do think that not washing properly and so on and being dirty is not nice.
No.
That's really distasteful. And the fact that this young girl at 15 is sleeping around with everyone is actually quite scary. And Max, I do think you have a big problem with their self-esteem. To me, they're screaming out for attention.
Yeah.
These girls are saying,
like I'm a mother.
Dad, I want you to look at me, and I want you to notice me, and I want you to help me. We're doing all these other things, and we're really lacking in self-esteem.
You're a compassionate lady, Sandy.
I hope so.
Lady.
I hope so.
Peter.
I think I might wax lyrical over this
You're
problem.
a compassionate lady too.
I am perhaps the only person who ever had a petition taken against them at university for asking a riddle in a class. And the riddle was, why do Japanese sumo wrestlers shave under their arms and their legs? And the answer was, of course, so they wouldn't be mistaken for Australian university women feminists. I talked my way out of that, but when I was a young man and lived in Dowran, there was no public water supply. That had nothing to do with the fact that none of the women shaved under their arms or those legs in those days, and they rarely bathed but once a week on Saturday. And then lots of them didn't do that. They just had a cowgirly shower. And you know that what that is. It's the old Johnson's baby powder. And they went to the dances and they smelt wonderful. You know why they smelt wonderful? Because everybody was the same. Everybody stank to high heaven. And it was just so good and liberating. But speaking of hairy armpits, I had a bit of a fetish when I was a young man. And hairy armpits are a bit like oysters. If you strike a bad one, you're turned off for the rest of your life.
Thank you, Peter. Gary.
There's a bit of deja vu here. I'm just reading a little bit from the letter again. My eldest daughter is just feral with smelly armpits and just as bushy legs.
Yes.
I want to recommend a book to you. It's called Jenny Seaton, The Early Years. And Jenny managed to overcome a lot of things. She would admit it herself, I think, that she was called Bush. Was that right? At school?
I don't think that's nice.
Nice.
You were, because it was like a forest.
I remember she was a raver when she was young. She was a real spunk.
I had no excess at all.
She was young.
You're fair now, ever since you had that job done. But look,
Look how well groomed she is.
she's beautiful.
Yes.
But I think at that part, Jenny Seaton, The Early Years, there's a lot to be gained in that particular book. I agree with Sandy on this one too. Mac, you've got very low self-esteem. Mac, you've got to do something about that. You've got to start encouraging your family. Don't go around, poor me, I did this, she shot through, my kids are doing this, she's playing up with somebody down the road. Look at yourself. Clearly, Mac, it's up to you. Get this family back in line. Get yourself organised. Drop us a line when you've done it, and I'll be pleased to read it.
And meet the daughters.
Jenny.
Yeah, get those
the last
daughters
one.
in line.
Gary, you're
And it's
so
time you got stuck into it. Come on, Jenny.
It's a tough job. I mean, a single parent has it really tough.
And a single man has a difficult job.
Yeah, well, so does a woman if they've got children. It's not a hard
Well,
thing.
there's two
not an-
women there now.
It's not an easy thing to do. Now, what you need is a mentor for the girls, really. If you've got a sister or a lovely lady friend that can perhaps guide the girls in another direction, it's definitely a phase. I
Or
mean,
a
we've
Gillette
seen
razor would be good
girls.
too.
We've seen girls dressing in the last 8 years terribly. They've had dresses up to here and tops down to here and tattoos on their faces and piercings and everything. It's not a good female look, right? These girls are trying to become individuals or whatever at the detriment of their dignity.
We're getting
Now,
style.
they're
Where's
going
quality?
to get the wrong people, obviously, because they're giving out the wrong messages. You've got to get them to move away, and I know it's hard at that age, but a mentor, somebody that can show them a little bit of class is the way to go. She's a university student. She'll come out in the end being qualified, and they won't accept her in the workforce like that.
Sorry, it wasn't
Good advice.
Bush.
Good
I owe an
advice.
apology here, Max. Wasn't Bush. It was Nullarbor.
Yes. Now, what we have to do is decide the winner. Which letter do you want? And while you're doing that, I'll tell you the winner tonight gets a pair of sunglasses from Aussie Optical, a beautiful pair of sunglasses. So all you have to do is tell me now, which do you think is the best letter?
Tough job.
Tough job?
The panel we had a bit of a talk in the last commercial break, and once again, Jenny got away.
Yeah.
First letter you wanted?
I thought that was pretty
Yeah, I
close.
think we generally agree. Yeah.
One will do.
One.
Yes,
One.
yes.
Number one, you've got the
Hazel.
letter. That's Hazel from Midvale. We're keeping it in Western Australia.
Aussie glasses.
You've got a pair of sunglasses coming there. Thank you very much for being with us. Guys, you don't know how exciting this has been.
All us golden oldies.
You golden oldies, it's so wonderful to see you looking so well.
Still alive.
And not preserved and alive. Gary, all the best, and thank you for coming here
Max,
tonight.
it's been a pleasure, and good to catch up with you again, too. And please
And
give
give
my
the people
regards
in
to
the
your
home
lovely
my
family.
best regards, will
I
you?
will.
Yeah, when you get back, then keep taking the pills. Jenny.
I know. I've got to be home in half an hour. The gates get closed.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
do they? Oh, that's
Maximum
lovely. At least you
security.
remember where you're going, don't you?
Maximum security retirement
Absolutely.
village.
Sandy, what a pleasure seeing
Thank you.
you.
It's been a pleasure
How
being
wonderful.
here.
I'm glad you came back to this country.
So am I. It's coming home.
It's gorgeous. Peter.
Remember, Max, here's to the love that lies in ladies' eyes, and lies and lies and lies.
Well, that's it. That's all we've got for you tonight. We hope to see you sometime soon again. Remember, tune in to Sweet and Sour. Good night. Thank you from all of us. Hey, hey.